The passing happens in threes, they say. And Chuck Mangione, 4. Crazy week. The Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan passed away at 71 years old. Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. You're talking about a iconic star, wrestling star, superstar, pop culture, only in America. Hulk Hogan has passed away at 71 years old. And I could just tell you, if you're my age, during the 80s and the 90s, there was a period of time where every single where you looked, every single magazine you opened, every time you turned on the TV, Hulk Hogan was everywhere. And there are so many ginormous, iconic figures in the history of WWE, whether you're a fan or not. Andre the Giant, obviously The Rock, John Cena, the Iron Sheik, so forth and so on. And I'm just talking about the big stars, Ric Flair, and I mean, there's tons. But in terms of pop culture, people that just were beyond wrestling, beyond the sport of entertainment wrestling, WWE, Hulk Hogan was the top of the top of the top. And I'm sure there's wrestling heads that could debate, Andre the Giant meant this and The Rock meant that. But the Hulkster, he was the guy. And like I said, in the 80s, Hulk Hogan was every single place. And then, of course, he was in Rocky III as Thunder Lips. And that was crazy. That took him to the next level. And, I mean, what a life, what a legacy. I know his history outside of the ring is kind of controversial. And, he's like tabloid gold. Hulk Hogan has been tabloid gold with this, sex tapes and the cheating. And then, of course, he had the reality show where his family was on and his daughter was on. And there was lawsuits and video, all kinds of... I didn't really pay much attention to that. And he was like TMZ front page and star, when there was like old school rags, like not Esquire, what was the name of that magazine? But it was like those shit magazines that the Star and all that stuff. Hulk Hogan would be on there all the time. And like I said, he'd be in Sports Illustrated. He'd be in cartoons. He was everywhere. And the great Hulk Hogan has passed away at 71 years old. And I'm going to tell you what we're not going to do when Hulk Hogan passes away. We're not going to disrespect the Hulkster. That's what we're not going to do. Is we're not going to be disrespecting Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. I don't care if he had some controversy outside of the ring. I don't care if he endorsed Donald Trump. We're talking about one of the most original characters in American popular culture history, whether you know wrestling or you're a fan of wrestling or not. We are talking about a guy who created something out of his imagination that captured the world's attention. Men, women, and children all know who Hulk Hogan is, who the great Hulk Hogan was. And like I said, I don't care about him endorsing Trump. I don't care about the stuff that was controversial. We're not going to be disrespecting the man with the 18-inch pythons, brother. We're not going to be disrespecting the Hulkster for the joy that he gave. Forget you as an adult, sicko. Forget you. Think about the kids. Think about you as a kid. Talk about a real-life superhero. When the Hulkster was out there oiled up with his goatee and his hair and those 18-inch pythons, brother. Pure joy, elation, total original. This is an original character that he created. Hulk fucking Hogan, the Hulkster. We're not going to disrespect the Hulkster, brother. Obviously, as a teenager in the 80s and, a young kid in the 80s when wrestling was starting to take off, I mean, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was going to come out of his mouth. You didn't know what he was going to do. And like I said, when he was in Rocky III, playing Thunder Lips, when he threw Rocky Balboa out of the ring, I wanted to cry. I saw Rocky III the day after it came out in a sold-out movie theater, and going to see Rocky 3 the day after it came out and not knowing what was going to be. I don't remember seeing a trailer that Hulk Hogan was in Rocky 3, but when he showed up in Rocky 3 as Thunderlips, and then Thunderlips threw Rocky Balboa out of the ring, and Mickey was like, I mean, it was insane. Hulk Hogan is pop culture Americana, and he will be missed. A one-of-a-kind, one-of-one. Salute the Hulkster. May his memory be a blessing. His memory truly will be a blessing because of the joy that he gave people. The joy that Hulk Hogan gave people and what he represents to fun, to wrestling, and to sports, and to just, like I said, popular culture. He was beyond wrestling, beyond sports. He was a pop culture icon, the great Hulk Hogan. And of course, this week we lost Ozzy Osbourne, which I talked about on the podcast with my wife, Rapaport's Reality. If you've never listened to Rapaport's Reality, it's where we break all things popular culture, all things reality TV, and a few things from the weekly coming and goings of our relationship. You should check out Rapaport's Reality. We talked about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne as a musician, as a figure, and as a reality TV show star, as a reality TV star, as the dad on the Osbournes. And this is at a time where you were like, what is going on with this guy? Because what Ozzy Osbourne meant to the fans, and his, like he's a vampire, like he's like Satan worshiper, he's biting bats. And then when you got to see him as a real person who, forget what he did on stage, he just adored his family and adored his wife in such a weird, unique way. That was very, very sad. And of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner, this is a lot of people from the 80s. Obviously, Ozzy Osbourne was, a little bit before that. But I mean, talk about the 80s. We're talking about three icons from the 80s. And like I told you, musician Chuck Mangione also passed away. But Malcolm Jamal Warner, Hulk Hogan, and Ozzy Osbourne, you do a documentary, you do a story on the 80s and in the 90s. I mean, these three people are synonymous, specifically with the 80s and specifically with my childhood in different ways. And so many people, and they just captured the world's imagination and gave so much joy. Crazy. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan, at the end of the day, they brought joy to the world, truly. So they're all going to be missed, and may all of their memories be a blessing. And I'm sorry for the loss to their friends, the family, and the fans, so what they truly meant to people. Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, and Malcolm Jamal Warner, I mean, they really touched people's hearts and meant a lot to, obviously, the people that knew them, but to the fans. So it was a crazy week, this week here in July 2025.
I am Rapaport Podcast.